Hello, all. Welcome back, Royals. I hope you're having an amazing week. And we are going to talk about tonight, we're going to talk about one of our community legends. His name is Jaden Daniels. We are also going to highlight the graduates, and then we are going to get dating advice from a new TikTok sensation. Child, it's always somebody coming up, but this is a man who got money. He's giving us dating advice that I think, in lieu of everything that has come to surface about Cassie, we can all relate. And we probably should have had different dating advice when we were coming up. So we're going to take some pointers from him and have some good conversation and context around that. We'll have our co-host introduce himself, then we'll bring up Rose, and we will get started.
What's up, y'all? This is the famous homie. 2 weeks in a row. 2 weeks in a row. I got a little streak going, but feeling pretty good, Got promotions going on and advancing in life. So I'm feeling pretty good today. What's up, y'all?
Congratulations on your promotion. So we're going to have a small schedule change. He has been promoted. So I am thinking that the best time to move it back to is Sunday, so we can start off our week. I think that's the day that we will move it to, and we will let you know the time. It'll probably be early so we can get on with the rest of our day, and you guys can have some good content for Sunday. We'll have Rose introduce herself, and we'll dive into the topics.
Hi, everybody. How are you doing tonight?
We are doing well. So let's get started. Tonight, we promise to behave because I need all of these clips. Everybody's going to behave. So let's get started. First, we have our graduates. So congratulations to all of the 2025 graduates. I have a short video of all of them. I have five nieces and one nephew that is graduating this year. One graduated from college, excuse me, 4 from high school, and then the guy from high school as well. Trying to keep it straight, y'all. Blood of Jesus. Here we go.
Put on your cap and gown and get ready. It's your graduation. It's your time, yeah. Yeah, you shine. Congratulations. You deserve it. Yeah, you earned it. Oh. Walk across the stage, I'm feeling great. Might just do my dance and celebrate. Yeah. Might just throw my cap up in the sky. Posing for these pictures looking.
So the one that graduated from college, she was officially done today. One niece already graduated, that is KB, and she wants to be a motorcycle technician. Very interesting. Blood really matters. My dad was a Nissan specialist, and she didn't even know that, but that's where her heart lies. Kids be scared to tell me stuff, but I'm trying to tell you. Why would I care? Just be something, okay? And be great.
Right.
Right. And then I have one niece graduating on the 9th of June, and she wants to be a teacher. So I'm excited about that. And then the other niece is going to Washington State, and I don't know where the last two are going or what they are doing. Talking to these kids is like pulling teeth, yeah. But that is what happened. So, small clip for my niece. Y'all got to do it. So sorry. Then we would jump right in. Y'all know she probably beat me up if I didn't do it. And I would just like to say I'm officially done. I don't have to restart until about 10, 15 years. How old is Hartley? 6? She in kindergarten? Oh, another story. Here we go for kids.
Hope you know I'm proud of you. They don't know what you go through. They don't know what you've been through. Hope you know I'm proud of you.
So listen, let me tell you. On to our first topic, and that is going to be Jaden Daniels. Listen, let me tell you something. The reason why I picked him is that I know one of his parents. So I know his father, and lately he's been coming up a lot in media, interestingly enough. Funky Doniba talked about him the other day. That totally blew my mind. And then I logged into TikTok, and a TikToker was saying something about him as well and about his background. I think it's an amazing thing when both parents are extremely involved in a child's life, and thus they create a student who does amazing things. What I don't see enough of in the media is that his father is actually very present, very much so, right there, very much so, doing amazing things, very much so came from D1 football himself, and he is also an alpha, so he is my D9 brother. But these are some of the accomplishments that he personally helped his son get, because football comes from the dad's side. His grandfather also played football. So he went to school in San Bernardino and he graduated and went off to play football in Arizona. He received his degree there, and he also got honorable mention for freshman offensive player of the year. Awards already. I'm trying to tell you, amazing quarterback, amazing quarterback. Then he transferred to LSU, so he went to a HBCU. That is so awesome. Sometimes these kids, I have a nephew I'm going to talk about next week as well, but your path may not be straight, right? He could have gone directly to LSU, but there was something beneficial that he saw about going to ASU first and then transferring over. And now he's playing for the Washington Commanders. So he was actually in professional football as well. Trying to tell you. He
Number
also
2 draft,
received a Heisman as well.
Heisman winner, the number 2 draft pick, up and coming quarterback in the NFL. It's so beautiful to watch.
It is. It is. So let's watch a short clip on the background of him directly from the words of his father. So I think that is amazing. Great dads, keep doing what you're doing. I know that they don't get recognized enough, especially in our community, and the media doesn't really show the new trajectory of what things look like, right? So not everybody has children and they're married or things happen, but both parents still stay very actively involved and they equally contribute to their children. But for some reason, the context behind things sometimes doesn't move in the father's favor. And I will say, as a witness to this with my husband, dads move different. They take care of their kids. They don't need a huge kudos, and they do all of these things. But just the same as you recognize the woman for giving up her life, making all these adjustments, there's dads out there to do the same thing. So I think that they need to be recognized. So here we go.
First thing I gave him was a football right out the crib, and I told him, hey man, I'm gonna try to make you the best football player I can.
The story of Jaden Daniels begins in San Bernardino, California. Raised by his parents, Javon and Regina, Jayden immediately had a love for sports.
His first sport was soccer at 5, and then he showed it at speed. So the next year we put him in track. He would go out there and run around with me, and he always just wanted to play football. So once he started with flag football, it just took off from there.
Jayden's father, a college defensive back, initially signed by Washington before playing for a JUCO and then starting for Iowa State. He was an assistant coach during Jayden's high school career. Jayden found himself starting at quarterback as a freshman. He was batting up the school's trophy case in a big way.
We hadn't won a CIF title since, I think, 87. During Jayden's tenure, 2 CIF appearances, 1 CIF title.
Very coachable kid, very like kid, was always did all the extra stuff. He wasn't the your superstar type kids.
Jayden chose Arizona State.
He went to Arizona State and did exactly what he said he was going to do. He said, hey, I want to go there, I want to play, and then I'm going to graduate in 3 years. And he did that.
What many people may not know about, however, is what Daniels was dealing with off the field.
COVID hit our family, and my mother and my father died from COVID at the end of 2020, and my mother died in 2021, and we buried both of them on 2021 in March. And they died together. And that affected Jayden a lot.
That's something that probably doesn't get brought up enough. I think it affected him pretty big. But again, he's just not the guy that's going to make excuses. He's not going to talk about it and bring it up. He's just going to continue to go out there and just play.
I know it's affected me personally, so I know it's affected him. And I'm not carrying the expectations of a university on my back.
On October the 2nd of last year, Jayden dedicating his game to his grandfather, just one day after Grandpa's birthday.
At this point, he's 20, so he's like, I'm okay. Every 20-year-old, 21-year-old thinks they're Superman at that point. I did.
And as an LSU Tiger, Daniels seemed to have ice water running through his veins as the Tigers marched 99 yards for a touchdown in the closing moments against Florida State.
Everybody's on the edge of their seat, and I'm looking at him, expression just face blank, focused, never You never doubted him by looking at him.
Those moments don't get too big for him. You know, he stays in his game and does a great job. You know, hindsight 2020, but probably wish he would have went for 2.
And no matter what happens with LSU and Daniels moving forward, those who love him will be abundantly proud.
Jaden's a team first player. Jaden's a family guy. He's a friend guy. He has gone through so much, and he's come a long way. He still has a ways to go, but honestly, what really matters is, you know, just being healthy and blessed and thankful and grateful for opportunities in life.
I think that is so awesome. In addition, since then, Kasha, who we lost last year, it was just 1 year. 1 year just came up. That was his cousin as well. So Jayden has gone through a lot, and he has still exhibited amazing talent and still kept going. But that comes from having an amazing village. I can only speak to the village on his father's side. And I know that his father's side is there as well as the entire village. They are a very close family. They're a big family, and they show up and show out for each other. And education is really big in that family. So I want to just say kudos to Jay. You did an amazing job with your son, and I hope that there are more beautiful moments to come. What do you guys have to say?
Kudos to you, Jay, for sure, for sure. You know,
Good job.
like you said, you know, some men don't get the recognition. We don't look for the recognition. Honestly, the one that's really doing it, we don't care who recognizes. You know, me personally, the only 3 people that I care about getting recognition from is the 3 people that I raised. So, but you know, you're right. A lot of people don't speak about what men do. It's always a negative narrative that's painted when it comes to Black fathers in particular. But Jay, like you said, knowing Jay, you know, like we're able to experience him and seeing him, you know, what he did with his son, and you know how he contributed and got his son, helped get his son all the way to the NFL at the top of the mountain. That was his goal, and he reached it. And not only is he in the NFL, he's one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL right now, and he's only in his 2nd year. So he has a whole 10-year career, 10, 15-year career ahead of him. It's going to be interesting and fun to see what that boy does, that man does over the course of his 10 to 20-year career. You know, he may win a couple Super Bowls. He may, you know, America's athlete. We don't know this. The sky is a limit. So, you know, props to him, props to Jay, and props to little Jaden Daniels and the whole family. Like you said, we know the family, and they're good people. And you know, it's a real nice pick me up from having to deal with the tragic loss of Kasha, you know, and having that happen right after that. So rest in heaven, Kasha, and I'm proud of you, Jay, and Jayden. Go ahead and reach the top, man.
You, Rose?
No, just kudos to the whole family, because we don't see that a lot on social media being praised. So that's good. I like seeing stuff like that.
So you want to know what's interesting? This topic has been bothering me for a while, and this is why it's been bothering me. And you don't really think about things, like we report on things all the time, but you don't think about, well, what happens if somebody you know pops up and it's something that you don't like, right? There is a lot of negative information out there, and it's very unfortunate that when I look in the comments, I think they bothered me the most because I know Jay, and I see in the comments people saying things like, you know, it's because there's no father. They automatically assume, and I'm like, well, who said that? But it's like the racist people immediately go to.
But what made them say that?
I don't know. They just literally. Okay, go ahead, brother.
I mean, it looks like a narrative is being pushed about that, you know, he was raised by the mom, like
herself.
Jay is being pushed out, and I don't know the mom, but you know, being related to the situation, I can only assume that she's pushing the narrative. And it's really sad. It's really sad that she's pushing that narrative. And the media is going to run with it. Of course, the media is itching to make a Black man look bad. You know, why not make another one look bad? LeVar Ball got criticized and got held for being a great father to his sons, and all of his sons are successful. 2 of them got $100 million contracts in the NBA, and the other one just had a song go viral, and the Ball family is successful. But look how they painted him to be such a bad father and all this other shit. So, you know, it's something that we expect. Of course, they're going to try to make Jay out to be the X, Y, or Z. And sometimes it's our own people that does it to us, which is even worse. So,
yeah. So now that my brother answered it, That is why. That's the way that it's being pushed out. And look, if I could give any advice, I have never met his mother. I do not know his mother. I only know I will leave everything. I've been around for 20 plus years. So I'm privy to what the perception is or the experience is. But that is aside from what is now. What is now is what is being pushed out and what we can see. And my advice would be woman to woman, you have the opportunity to be the voice and the trailblazer to say, look, me and this person didn't work out, but this person and their family still not only took care of our son, but also incorporated my daughter. And we are a success story of an unsuccessful story. And this is what it looks like. We are both college educated. We are both doing well in life. We both embedded those morals, values, and all of those things into our child. We both showed up. I didn't have to pull his teeth to make him come and see his child. He actually laid down a lot of his life to be there for his child. He was the coach for our son. He was present. And I need you other parents out there to know this is what it can look like if you raise a child in a healthy environment so that they can focus on their dreams and be really happy about that. And in addition, take a step back, because while you are well within your rights to guard and protect your son from the ladies, it's also an opportunity to allow him to grow in his own right and allow him to do some of the things that he would like to do, because this is not your spotlight. This is the spotlight that you created, though. So while he's over here at a party, you shouldn't be his date. You should be over here with the moms, kind of like on the game, where the men would be over here and the ladies created this. Take a step back, reevaluate, possibly go through some therapy, because that's a big life change, right? You have an amazing son and you had an amazing support system. You didn't do anything by yourself. Twist the narrative, go and get healed a little bit, and then come back and show us what a healed version of you looks like and how you can become successful. Because no doubt about it, you're a boss. You went back and created an opportunity for you to be your son's agent. I think that was freaking stellar. That shows you not in his pockets and things like that. Again, keep being an example, but that can't be seen if you're allowing the media to run with this narrative, because somehow the single baby mama did it by myself thing has taken over. You're blessed. That's not your story, baby.
What are they in the news for right now? That's what I'm trying to see. What
I just told you. I literally, that she's
oh, did he just get a contract or something? Like, I still don't understand.
No, he been signed. Go ahead, Ryan.
Contract. He got drafted number 2 in the draft. He was a number 2 pick in the NFL draft last year. So he was a rookie quarterback. The Washington Commanders were trash last year before he got there. He got there and turned the team around, and they made a playoff run. They won a playoff game and went to the divisional round in a playoff. So it was a huge turnaround. He's a huge thing right now as a rookie quarterback. He was a huge.
So that's why. So that's what I'm saying. Okay, so what was Funky Divina talking about him for?
So Funky Dineva was talking about him, and this is the one. I'm glad you asked. This is the one. Okay, everybody knows what's happening with Shannon Sharp. What Funky Dineva was saying is that when we raise our Black sons, or our successful children, let's just say our successful children, we should ensure that we do protect them and guard them as they go throughout life, and we are present and we do give feedback or whatever, right? So then he phased over to say, kind of like Jaden Daniels' mom, I'm sure she protects him so well because nobody was there when you had to eat cup of noodles and you had to do this and you sacrificed for your child and you did this and you did that. Where the hell did you get that from? That's not true.
I kind of do remember him talking about that now. And he was saying how the mom was saying that she ain't about to let nobody come in and take all her sons. That's who he was talking about?
Yes, but the narrative he was putting on it was based on perception. Again, if the perception is these things exist, then you taking what you have probably experienced and put it on there. You know, you have to keep the lights on. You have to work 2 jobs. You have to do this. That's not her story. But on this huge platform, you now just said this, and people, you can't control what narrative they run with. So don't give them a narrative to run. That's not true.
Okay, that's what I didn't understand. What had came, like, why were they in the news? So it's because the mama
Is
is
overbearing.
okay.
Mm-hmm. So I believe it was last month he was at a basketball game and he was sitting next to a prominent young lady in the WNBA doing great things, and they sitting there talking. And of course, once you get a narrative put on you, everybody looks for opportunities to catch that clip so that they can then post it, right? They're sitting there and she walks while the game is happening and they on the front row and sits between them and moves them apart.
The mama did?
So, of course, that went viral. All the wrong things are going viral. And you heard everything I said at the beginning. This baby came from San Bernardino. And in that environment, you still did all of this with grandparents, aunties, uncles, your dad, your mom, your sibling. Why would you do certain things in public to make this a part of this baby's brand? His brand should be what it is. Allow him to make his brand. When they talk about him, the comments are disgusting. And of course, they're more disgusting to me because I'm looking at it like, but that's not true. But I can't answer all 1,000,000 people, but it's not true. But that's what they see. So from a perspective of, we have panels and we talk about what we think based off of what we saw, they have the right. I mean, I can't cut them out because that's what you see. So it's a bit much.
It's pretty given to me, opportunist. I mean, I like to believe that she's not a dumb woman, shall I say it?
And
You
whole
know,
master's degree.
now you know damn well that your son is a star. He's a number 2 pick in a draft, black quarterback, which black men have been revolutionizing the quarterback position for the last 20 years. Black men weren't known to be. They wouldn't let us quarterback. We had a couple back in the day.
This is a big deal.
The Michael Vicks, when they tore him apart with the dog fighting. We don't have a lot of black historically great quarterbacks. And now over the last 10 to 12 years, starting with Cam Newton and Colin Kaepernick and those guys, black quarterbacks are starting to establish themselves. And
With
Jaden
some
Daniels,
nice clean records.
yes.
Oh, see, y'all talking a foreign language to me now. You know.
Yeah, I'm just.
Well, quarterback is a very big position, and they don't. Yeah.
She knows that her son is one of them ones. He's at the top. He's one of the best quarterbacks in the game. The quarterback is the most popular position in football.
Oh, okay.
If you're at an NBA game, or whatever game it was, and he's sitting next to another popular athlete who's a female, you don't think that her sitting in between them is going to go viral? You know,
right?
Effing well that
she walked up and did it.
Opportunist. You know that's what you know that, and that's serving her. That's serving her. It's you know what I mean.
But he gonna get tired of that probably after a while of her doing that.
We can only pray so.
Hey.
We can only pray so, because there is a healthy way to do it. There is a healthy way to do it. So I do think that it's time to have a conversation with mom and let her know, hey, we have better plans for my brand. We have better plans for displaying what our family is like. And I think we need to change the narrative because this isn't okay. And I really think that's going to happen because legit in the last 2 weeks, like media, he's the guy that mom's trying to tell you in layman's terms what the quarterback is.
Thank you. Look, I'm like, thank you. Because you see, I'm like, I don't know what it is.
Thanks, Mom. Thanks, Mom. So, yes, they have an opportunity to catch this because it is at the beginning. But in the comments, the shade room, the things like that, it's just out of hand. And she's set on podcasts and things of that nature as well. And it's just not a good look. So I think that it would be a better idea if she just regrouped, possibly called and had a conversation with the father, and you guys step out as the proud parents and show up for him. I'm sure that would also take, if he's playing this amazing, just think about if he didn't have that burden on his shoulders. Mm-hmm. We know that's something that baby thinks about. You don't have to say it, and I don't know that, but what I know is I was a child. What I know is I'm a person. So I'm pretty sure that matters. So I think that was needed because in our space, he is Black history and he is doing amazing things, and he doesn't brag. He's happy to do those things and talk about his team. He's a good baby. So he deserves it. So on to the main topic, and that is Boy, they. Hold on one second. It is going to be about dating and some of the things that you just don't have to go for. That's what this this guy talks about. And what I tell y'all, he is funny as heck. He doesn't call, he says if you do certain things and you have like broke behavior or whatever, then you are oh my God. His name is Russell. Hold on, Russell Hartley. And he called him a Splender daddy. Not a sugar daddy. They're Splendor daddies. So she's so wrong. Yes, he does need that. Yes, they need to have some reconciliation. He calls them Splendor daddies.
Oh no.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and switch the topic. And before we do, of course, we'll take a small, short 30-second break to switch topics. And I'm going to fill up my wine so I can have some more. Here we go. Okay, so I added Remy to my wine. I didn't fill it up. I added Remy to it because the 1800, I think that is what was making me itch. Rose wouldn't stop talking about me. So let's play the first clip of the Splendor Daddy and see if we agree with his advice or we're going to reject it. We need to clearly start thinking with a different mind because, baby, this Cassie stuff got my head all over the place because all I could think with certain things is, well, that was me. That's me. I know somebody that did that. We are so psychologically abused by men. And sometimes your parents, and sometimes your job, and sometimes your friends. We got to do better. So I'm trying to get some dating advice so I could pass it on to my niece so she could do, niece says, so they can do better. Because clearly we missed the mark with some shit. We say stuff like, oh, these are good people. Apparently these people got secrets. Lord Jesus. Here we go.
What if he says he has money, but he don't want to date a gold digger? Splenda daddy. That's a Splenda daddy, Daisy. If he says he has money, oh, believe me, I have money. You don't even worry about it. I'm never going to show you, Daisy. I have money though. Believe me, it's in a secret trust fund that I'll have unlocked when I'm 41 one day. Yeah, right. Y'all lying anyways. And then also they say, oh, I have money. I got a trust fund coming. Yeah, but I have a trust, but I can't be dating a gold digger. I have money though, but trust me, Splenda daddy. Y'all lying. All right. Who are you trying to impress? Pull up the account. Let me see your FICO score right now. Or else I don't believe it. Show me. Pull it up. Oh, I have money. Believe me, I have money. I just don't want to be dating a gold digger. Lying. Y'all lying. Splenda daddy. Don't listen to him, folks. Men with money don't need to tell you, oh, I got money. It'll be fucking obvious. You ever heard of, let me tell you about a term. There's a term called conspicuous consumption. Oh, let's just order a bunch of stuff off the menu to the table. Okay, I didn't even look at the price. Just, we'll have some of that, we'll have some of that, we'll have some of that, we'll have some of that. Just bring it all. Valet, pull my car around. It's obvious if they have money. They don't need to tell you, oh, but I have money. I got money somewhere. I just don't want to date a gold digger. Lying. Y'all lying. Who are you trying to trick? The answer is he's trying to trick you to move into his apartment and pay for half his rent so that he can get a better car, a Hellcat or whatever.
He funny. I was trying to think of what recent Tisa used to, what was she saying when she needed to see the money in the account?
Proof of funds.
Yeah, proof of funds. I need proof of funds.
No, I thought about what he said. Pull it up. Show me your credit score. I thought of you because you was asking last time when we was talking about that. Well, when did you ask to see their credit score? I guess when they ask you, they'll tell you they don't want to go digger. I'm like, what is I said, this man is crazy, but it's actually true. Because
That
who
is
walked
true.
around bragging about having money that's gonna come in a trust fund, talking about they don't want gold diggers,
Right.
but you technically are a gold digger because you waiting on money that's about to come versus money you're about to make. And
Based off what he said, though, I mean, I'm reading what he said.
uh-huh.
He ain't talking about no niggas. He talking about white boys. What niggas you know that's got a trust fund coming to them?
Uh,
Like,
no
it's
niggas, but some
sure
black
it's
men.
some. I'm sure it's some, but
I think he's talking about a different social class.
You know, a trust fund. I mean, I've heard of.
Yeah,
But do you know?
I haven't met no black
So
people either that have
no,
money.
but it is some that say, why am I not buying a house? Because I'm going to inherit my parents' house, or they move in with their parents when they get older, and then say, "Oh, I only live here to take care of them." Versus living. So we do experience. Look at you laughing because you know.
In other ways, yeah, not no damn trust fund.
Exactly, not a trust, but still an inheritance.
Yeah.
Still an inheritance. And
Still, I would be like, boy, you don't know when your parents about to pass away, like, so you just gonna wait and wait. They could
I just
outlive
told
you.
you they moved back in talking about, oh, I'm only living here to take care of my parents. Parents be 55.
Exactly,
And you like,
that's what I'm saying.
My house, they live with me. No,
they
you live
do.
with them.
They do. They be lying.
Yeah.
Parents be perfectly healthy. And they over there talking about, well, we live together for this.
Yeah,
So
like, they
how we supposed to be
they probably
together?
gonna outlive you. So shut up, boy. You live with them.
Huh?
I said they probably gonna outlive him. Like, boy, shut up. You live with them.
Exactly. It's a hot mess. But does it happen? Yes. And then be the people that for real be walking around with broad shoulders like, oh, I'm going to get this and I'm going to get that. Or my parents got money or I come from money. And you looking like, but where's your money?
Yeah.
Like,
and then, like he said, you don't have to say that. Like, it would be obvious. You don't have to say that you have money. That is something that you can tell. Like, just certain ways people move. Like he said, give me this. You would not have to be like, oh, I got money. You don't have to say that at all.
You got money, you are not pressed to talk about it. That's for
yeah,
sure.
You don't have to say that.
You don't want to talk about it because you don't want people to know what you got. So
exactly.
People stack your ass. Like,
right?
Just keep it a stack. Like, nobody's walking around bragging about how much money they got to people. Like, what? You don't want
people. It's only broke people that do. It's only broke people that do that. They gotta show that they got money.
Or they're trying to buy
money in their pictures.
They ain't got no real money. Like Jay-Z said, y'all on the gram holding money. It's a disconnect. That's not money. Like, nigga, you got a couple bands. That ain't money, bro. That ain't no real money. Like, stop. Like, come on. That's not no real money. That's not no real money. You doing that type of shit, you don't got real money. Period.
And although it's not to minimize anybody's accomplishments or nothing like that, it's to talk about the ego of it all and how you shouldn't be having an ego like that. Like one girl did a TikTok and she was like, this guy kept asking me, oh, did you eat today? Did you eat today? And then when she was saying, no, I didn't eat today, he would be like, oh, that's not good. And so she kind of got offended because she was like, well, if I said, why are you asking me? She asked him, why are you asking me if you're not going to take me to lunch or send me lunch or something? Right. Why ask that? Right. So at first I didn't get it, but then like after I played it back, I was like, oh, that does make sense. Like if you do make sense, why do you keep asking? Yeah, it's the action supposed to be behind that. But so many of us are kind of trained at the beginning to be like, oh, that was sweet that they asked. You know what? You're right. Let me go get me something to eat. No, if I say I haven't, it's supposed to be an action behind it. But we so, I
would automatically think you saying that because you want to go take me somewhere to eat.
Right. So
unless we was at work or something, like, did you eat breakfast today? Like, if it was
something
like that.
Here you go. Hey, bro, have you ate today? I think you should go get you something to eat.
Right.
So that means ready to cuss you out.
So then she said, so then I started thinking, one, are you asking me if I cook so that I could bring you something? Or what is going on? So she told him like, hey, why do you keep asking me that? Well, I'm trying to show you that I care. And that hit a nerve with me so bad. And I'll tell both of y'all why after, and you will remember. Just the words, that's like just texting somebody good morning every morning. And you say something like, well, I'm being consistent. That's nothing. That's easy. You did it for right. It's no action behind it. So when she tells him that, then he says, oh, I'm far from broke. I got plenty of money. She said, then send me your bank account right now. I bet you it's $29.99 or something like that. And he goes, no, how about 20K? I could buy every house on your block.
With 20K? With 20K?
We talking about a Monopoly
houses. You can buy all the play houses in the store on the aisle.
No, we could play the game of life. You probably could buy a couple houses for 20K. You on the board game, you winning.
So he got real cocky. He got real cocky with her.
I'm like, boy, shut up. You ain't even about to buy one house with 20K unless you buying it from an auction.
Maybe if you lucky in the middle of Detroit where it's burned down and you get there and it's only the
right. And that's still only one house. And that's still only one house if you on an auction, but ain't no regular house. Boy, that's a down payment. I would have been like, block, and you're blocked.
So thank you for saying that. Thank you for saying that. So let's move on to the next one. Let's move on to the next one. So the next one is called, I named it. It's called the $500 unblock. And let's see what he has to say. Rosé's crazy, but she's apparently right on with the guy. Here we go.
Okay, so he canceled the date. How do I reject him? Block him. Block him, and then put on your Venmo $500 for unblock. My unblock fee is $500. That's it. Those guys, they'll cancel a date with you because they got a better option or whatever. But in just a few short days or a week or so, he'll hit you up again. They always come back. If they had a date lined up with you, they're going to come back next Tuesday. That's how it always goes. The date tonight won't go as they planned, harder than it looks. And then he's going to hit you up anyways. That's how all men are. So when he hits you up and it sees that his text is green, he's going to go, what the hell? Did she block me? And then just have your Venmo in your bio. We'll unblock for $500. All right? Make them invest in you. All right? This money moves.
In your block. I don't even got time to play them games. Like, boy, no.
So I would just like to say, ladies, here is my thing. I was recently held accountable for not paying attention enough. And here's the reason why. You can be a victim, but you can be a victim because you were blissfully ignorant. Let's just call it that. Because you don't come from a certain thing, you don't recognize a certain thing. So I would always say, how was I supposed to know that? I don't behave that way, this and that, right? So somebody held me accountable and said, but if you were paying attention and analyzing that person instead of being so laid back, which is what we're taught to do, we're taught, don't blame the next relationship for what happened in this relationship. We're taught, give people a chance. We're taught, forgive people. We're taught all of those things, right? Which are technically correct. You should do all of those things because none of us are perfect. But while you are doing those things, at the beginning stages of dating, courting, whatever it is, you should be paying attention to how the person moves, different things they're saying, analyzing them, and then you should have a wing person that you trust, that if you tell them, hey, this happened, this is how it's been going, these are some of the highlights, you can have those conversations. Like now, a bunch of us know more about love bombing, narcissists. We can pick out those things, right? If we have more conversations like that, instead of, oh my God, I had a good time, and these are all the fluffy things that happen. First of all, if too many fluffy things are happening and there's no real conversations, that's love bombing and a person's probably hiding something. So start paying attention to different signs and block as early as possible. Tell them on the way out, don't ghost people. We had a show about that. Tell them, you know what? It was nice dating you. I think this is a good time for us to go ahead and not move forward. You don't have to move forward. Have that, be respectful to the other person, because people are crazy. And a man just unalived a girl because they stopped talking on the internet and he found where she lived and went in there and unalive her. So still watch your mouth, but just go ahead and let it go. What do you guys think about blocking quick and paying attention to things based on all this information we have now?
I always say before that people don't they don't get to know each other enough before they really get serious. Like they don't court and then they don't talk to know what a person's likes and
About the
dislikes
right
is,
things.
their love languages and all that. They don't get to know each other well enough before they really take it to the next level. So I feel like if you see some red signs and you see it in the beginning, you need to block them. Like what they're not going to change. That's them already. So, and
Thank
I
you for
feel like
saying that. They're not going to change. Did you guys
they're
hear what you
not going to
said?
change.
They're
They're
not
not going
going
to
to
change.
change.
That's how they are. We're at an age where we're not going to change. But I do feel like certain people will change for somebody they really want to be with. But if you talk to this person and you know what their likes and dislikes are, and you see that they're trying to work things out with you, then that's different.
Okay.
But other than
Agreed.
that, then no. Like and I feel like you don't have to give nobody an explanation. Like you know what you did. The hell blocked.
Rose called out 3 good things. She said, most people are not going to change, but she followed it up with, if they're telling you what their issues are and they're working them out and you see them actively working them out, that's a good person to take a chance on where the forgiveness lies. I would like to say that is 100% true. That is where my area of not being aware came from before in certain relationships. So I didn't know that I was doing that. And you need to take time, slow down when you're in a relationship. Because my reasoning was, I'm too busy I don't have time to be damn Inspector Gadget. Then you don't have time to be dating, because you do need to slow down. Because had I slowed down, I would have saw a lot of different things that I truthfully did not see until years later. Slow down. Dating is not a game. This is a person you could potentially marry, have kids with, be with. Is very important. It's very important. And then the last thing, what was the last thing that you said?
I forgot.
Sorry, sweetheart. It was one thing she
Sound
said,
like
but those 2 things are very, very important. Oh, they will change for the right person.
Whoever they really want to,
Whoever they really want to be with, they will.
And that goes for men and women. Like they will change for whoever they really want to be with. Just think how many relationships people have been in, and the person or saying they have kids or whatever, they like, they never did that stuff with me. They never did that for me. And you be like, but like I said, they will change for whoever they really want to be with. They'll change.
Indeed, true. What you got to say,
I think they'll change for the time being. I don't think people are going to change all the way. Like once they get the person, and that's where it fucks up at. So you get people that'll give you their representative. They'll show out and be that different for you. Once they land you and got you, they're going to go back to their old ways. And that's where people get their wires crossed. Stop trying to change people or hoping people to change. Get somebody that fits you. You don't want to get somebody that has to change to fit you. Like that's what so many people are willing to sacrifice everything else for 2 things that they're into, whether it's they got bread, or whether it's they fine, or whether it's they got an athletic body, or whatever the hell it is you're into. People be so hell-bent on those things that they'll ignore all the other BS about this person just to be with them. And that's people got to make better choices. Like people see this stuff, like you can see stuff right away. But if you're ignoring stuff just because you like 2 things about a person, that's on you. Once it go left and go sour, that's on the choice that you made. So people got to take accountability on the choices that they make.
Can I take it a little bit step further? I understand what you're saying, and I agree. Here's where another learning lesson for me. When somebody says, I'm changing and I'm working on these things and I'm in therapy, and right away we think, oh my gosh, that's a big deal that you're going to therapy, right? Because no person would think you're going to therapy and you're lying. You're going because you want to get better. Here's the thing. If I could give you my body and you could give me your body, I don't think there should be any topic off the table. So again, having those conversations that are a little bit uncomfortable, like Rose said, some people do like, we talked and talked and talked. But what did you talk about? When you brought up certain topics, did they move it? If they are willing to tell you, I am going to therapy to fix these things because my childhood brought out this trauma, I just realized it, you deserve a fair chance. Here's what you should be able to do, though. What did you talk about in therapy? I don't need the gory details, but what did you learn? What are you going to do better? What are some of the things that you recognize? Because here's the thing, like brother said, you don't need the mask person. You actually need to know that person that's hurt and harmed below that. And if they can't share those things, but you could share a whole body, create a life, get married, and do all these things, we're not for each other.
But
Because
I feel like you in therapy or something, you don't even need to be dating at that time. Like, heal yourself before you start dating somebody.
I go to therapy a lot,
and
though.
then go to therapy after that.
No, I go to therapy a lot, though. I go probably every 2 years.
Therapy can be
I'm
used
saying
for
when you
maintenance
first
too,
meet
though.
somebody and
Sis.
they in therapy and stuff, I feel
Oh,
like
like
they
if
don't.
they just started?
Yeah, like
Agreed.
I don't think that they need to be dating. Like, wait till
Agreed. So you can absorb it all and not be worried about your representative and not be worried about keeping up an image. I agree, because that's a place, baby, that opens up wounds, and you got to get through them, and it's very hard to do while somebody's looking at you like, oh, you're supposed to be the strong man, and you may have just admitted you were touched, right? And you may be having to go through that while you're still trying to perform. You need to be, I agree with Ro, you need to be by yourself, because you need to be able to be as vulnerable, work through your things without somebody, the pressure of another person. I agree with Ro. That first therapy session, and I mean session, all of them until you're done with that first round, and now you moved in life and you're using these tools, it opens up stuff. You learn yourself. You learn how you process things wrong to survive. You learn all these things. It's very hard to do that while real life is still happening, especially a relationship. I agree with Ro. It's very hard. Good advice. I didn't date when I went to therapy the first time, because I knew that I would be a basket case. I wasn't prepared for what they might tell me. I just wanted to be in that space with the people I
on that other
trust.
person. That's not fair to put that on them.
No, all I wanted was my sisters, my mom. I could be honest, I didn't want nobody else around. Skylar, that's all I wanted. I just wanted the people I could just burst into tears if I need to, or it's very sensitive, especially when you go with the intent to lay it all out, because you really want to be better and you want this person to guide you on how you've been thinking and how you went into survival mode. You can't do that if you hiding and holding back and playing strong. You got to really just lay it out there. So very good advice, Ro. Very good. No, I think that's what causes trauma bonds too.
Yeah,
and men putting their hands on you.
Yep, go heal first and then date after that. Be healed. You need to be, and a lot of people are not healed. They may, like you said, it could be something that happened in their childhood, but then it could be something that happened from the relationship before, the prior relationship, and you need to be healed from that, because you don't need to go into another relationship still with all that last relationship on you, and you not trusting this person because, oh, I think you're gonna do me how the last person. No, you need to be healed. You need to be healed. Yeah. And a lot of people don't take that time to themselves to heal. They just go from relationship to relationship, taking all that bondage and dumping it on the other person.
Yeah, that's a lot of suitcases, baby. And healing, to be clear, is an ongoing process. But after coming out of that first session where you meet yourself, because you meet yourself. When I was getting my master's, it was your current self, your future self, and your real self. We did that going through the master's program so that we learned ourselves and how we're processing things when we're a manager, when we're leading somebody, when we're doing all of that. That was one of the best. Men was in that room crying, fellow students, because you just saw so much of yourself, or you learned something, or you heard a story from somebody else, and then it clicked like, I went through that, but I didn't process it like that. I didn't think nothing was wrong with that. It was something wrong. Oh my God, it's very good. And you deserve to give that to yourself. Now, as you continue the process, yes, you can be in a relationship and move forward with your life, because healing never stops and you keep learning about yourself. But that first one, woo, learn a lot. So next one, this one I thought would be very interesting. It is called "The Never Leaves the Wife." So let's go.
Okay, a married man never leaves his wife for his mistress. That's right. They'll never leave the wife for the mistress. They'll like try. They'll tell you. You see that in movies. I left her. I finally left her. Men don't ever leave their wife for the mistress. The wife finds out and then kicks him out of the house, and then he calls the mistress and says, "I'm leaving her for you, honey. I did it. I finally did it." No, he didn't. He got caught. He didn't leave her for you. He got caught. And then now he's just trying to spin it to you like it's some romance. Wrong. He could have left that woman 6 months ago, but he didn't. He just got caught. He was in the shower one day, left his phone unlocked or whatever, he got caught lacking, and then he got busted, and now he's calling you like it's some fairy tale. Wrong. That's not what happened. They never leave the wife, no matter what they say to you.
I would say in most cases that is true from a healthy one. If you truly loved your wife when you got married, not the ones that really didn't. They got married too young because they had a baby, all of that. Let's sit those aside because he is speaking to a particular group of people. If you truly love your wife or your husband, I don't think, like Remy said today, you tell me what woman would or man would leave their spouse if you were my safe space, my person, you provide, you do these things, all of those things. No, sometimes people get, the flesh is weak. Sometimes people get weak and they need something outside of what they're going through. It could be a major event that happened. It could be a parent passing. It could be anything. And you start to cheat because you just want to be outside of your life, right? So you are the Band-Aid. You are that person that is the mistress or the guy that is being cheated with. They become so comfortable in that space, but eventually they feel guilty. And they do go back home and try to make that work. And if that spouse can take them back to a level that is comforting to them and they don't feel guilty all the time, they can forgive themselves, they can be healthy and start to rebuild their marriage is going to sustain that. Marriage is not something that if you love the person, you enter into thinking if they do one thing, I'm going to leave. That's not true. That's why you take the vows that you take. As a person on the outside, I don't understand why you would even be comfortable and want the person that cheated. The same way most of you women are the ones who pick up the phone and call, write, text, whatever, to the wife to let her know, because at that point you have become jealous of that issue, or you try to call yourself fast tracking it to get the person to yourself. Please explain. Why would you want somebody that would cheat on their spouse to be yours? Why would you want to ruin a home? How are you going to be comfortable with that person? I hope y'all know that everything that they tell you as a mistress damn near is a lie. So while y'all say, well, he could be open with me, yeah, the things that he could tell you are things that he knows are not right, and he can vent the same way you would vent to a friend. You are this person over here by yourself while the whole rest of the life is over here. So yes, he can tell you those things because they don't connect. It's damn near like talking to a therapist. They don't have to be real. In their head, my wife will never know this. She'll never know it. And then if you try to tell her, you look like the angry, jealous person, and the wife is probably either less likely to believe you or believe you and still tell you, bitch, I don't care. I'm still moving forward with my marriage the same way you want my marriage. I don't understand. What about being a mistress is okay with you guys? Are you okay? Not are you okay? I mean, bless you to you. And then to the mistress people, are you okay? What is wrong with your head? I don't understand. Why do y'all think that mistress think that the man is going to leave and be with them, even if he says it? If he's lying to the person he has a commitment with, why do you believe that he's going to leave and be with you and have a fruitful, blessed, amazing life?
They don't. They don't
Oh.
really believe that. That's why.
Well, thanks, brother.
It's a facade. They don't really believe it. They try to convince themselves that they believe it, but they don't really believe that shit. They know what it is. Like, come on, man. Like,
Stop me when I was saying all of this to say, hey, sis, yeah, no.
because I was enjoying hearing it. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, all right, but let me bring it back to reality. They don't really believe that. They be living in a fantasy, and they gonna ride that fantasy for as long as they can. Because honestly, we know how men move. When men want things, they want things and they do it. They go get it. If he was really gonna leave his wife for you, he would have been left his wife for you. He's not gonna prolong it for all this time. So they know damn well he's not gonna leave him, but they stay stuck in that delusional mentality and have that fantasy world in their head that they go to. Is probably they escape. That's their little high, so they enjoy their little high.
So then I have another question for both of you, using only this question about that we saw Cassie talk about. She was the primary girlfriend, and she was still very jealous of what I believe is Diddy's true love, which was Kim. She got the holiday, she got the family version, she got the more better version of him. So you, as the person on the outside, no matter what title, you began to get jealous and it started to hurt you. So as the person who does not have a binding contract out of God and kids or anything holding you to this person, why won't you just leave and get your own person instead of letting that hurt you over and over with no end date? Because they don't technically, their heart don't belong to you.
Well, I mean, to be fair,
People like that, not just this, but
she was young-minded and in a young.
I was just about to say, I think it's because she was young.
She was young.
Let's take young out of it. Why do people do that at any age?
It is.
Well, we can't use Cassie then.
We
just
do
say
goofy.
But you can use Cassie because she still was jealous at the end. So
we can, but we
just use that example. Any age, because it's 40-year-olds that do it. Let's just be fair. Yeah.
A lot of us are more prone to do young and dumb shit. I definitely wouldn't make the same decisions for major decisions that at 23 that I would make now, or 22 or 21, 20.
Okay, then let's use a different example. You guys both know that there is a marriage where there is a mistress. You both know that, right? Are you following me? Why do women, because it's not just her. I was using that for the sake of the goddamn show. But since you need a real example,
because I'm like, you can't use that.
And I don't see how. Yes, you can, because it's still the same thing. It's at every age.
Though.
It is. It's at every age. It just happens, that particular type of person. So there could be various reasons. Yes, the obvious for somebody young is that you're young. But on the bigger scale, there are plenty of women of all ages that do it. So why do you think women, period, do that as the mistress? What keeps them holding on, knowing they'll never have that man's heart?
If it was like, if we were using like an older woman,
or a mature woman, or
I'm just saying an older woman that they were with a man that was their boyfriend, but then he has kids with another woman and he spends his holidays with her, and then I could see a woman like that being jealous. But in my defense, if I was that woman, I would be like, you need to go be with her, because ain't no way that you about to go spend every holiday with them, which he should, because they're co-parenting and I can't come too. So it's levels to it. Yeah. So if I can't come and you feel like, oh, I'm about to go spend time with my baby mama and my kids, and I can't come, then I would have a problem with it. I probably would be jealous of it, but I would end that situation. I can't tell. I don't know why women do that. It don't make sense to me.
You never heard somebody talk about it? I haven't.
Why be jealous of something like that when you could leave? Like, if I'm not invited to come, I can't go on family. Your kids can't even come with me, and we go on family vacations or anything. It's no need for us to be together.
Well, the reality of it is everyone's mind isn't the same. It's easy for us to sit up here and say this because we have different minds. Some people are more easily manipulated. Some people are of course you like, who's not going to like the lifestyle of being rich and doing whatever the hell you want to do? Anyone's going to like that. But outside of that is, we all have different minds. We all think differently. We all have a different level of strength.
Right.
You know, we saw what happened when talking about Cassie, when she tried to leave the hotel, how he stomped her ass on camera in a public place. Imagine what he would do in their home or in a more private setting. You know, he was in a public and didn't give a damn, was stomping a hole in her face. So everyone thinks differently. Everyone's mind is different. It's really hard to criticize.
Have you heard anybody say it? Have you ever heard anybody that may be dealing with a man that they know that man's, or a woman, that the person's heart belongs to somebody else, so you get a piece of them?
I've had some people that I know were in those situations.
What did they say? Like,
well, it was more.
That's what I'm saying. It happens in every tax bracket, and it's not always money. Sometimes it's just that you really, that feel good, that dopamine, that thing.
Well,
but I'm wondering, don't the hurt
with women? This is another point I want to make. This is another point I want to make with women. Women, to women's defense, okay, especially Black women, you got to think about it. Women in America, the ratio of men to women in America is like 7 to 1 women.
There it is.
9 to 1 or something like that.
There it is, right there.
You got to think about, let's break down that one.
Yep.
That one, half of them are homosexual. Okay? Let's break down that half.
Men.
Let's break down that half.
Right.
A third of them are incarcerated. So there's really not enough men to go around. That's why some of these women, it's like by the numbers, that's why a lot of these women don't mind sharing a nigga or being a side piece and hoping them to leave, because there's not enough men to go. And then
there it is, brother.
That is true.
There it is, right there. You just hit the nail on the head. Y'all see what I'm saying? I'm like, no, let's give a real answer. Not just him. That's the answer.
There's not enough men to go around. So of course, a lot of women are not hesitant.
You have all these other factors helping you make the decision.
We got options. It's a man's world. They say it's 7 to 1. We got Susie, we got Carla, we got Becky, we got Michelle, we got all these women all over the place to choose from, and y'all don't have that same selection. So a lot of these women, they get stuck. Yes, they finally find one that they like. He happens to be married. They're like, damn. Oh well, I'm finna fuck with him anyway. Like. You know what I'm saying?
No. So that's what I was getting to. And I'm like, no, y'all know the answer. I'm like, maybe one of y'all experienced it or you heard somebody talking. And I know we talked about it before, but that's more so the answer. There's all these other contributing factors that are coming to you making your decision. That's
I think with Cassie, it just had.
I'm not talking about just Cassie. I don't want to talk about Cassie.
With her, I think hers would be because of the money. That would be a reason for you to say you ain't gonna live that lifestyle with nobody else.
And it's hard. I mean, shoot, we ain't never had no bread like that. So I'm just saying, like, it's hard to.
But let's just keep it a buck. If in our real world, once somebody makes 100K, they get treated just like Diddy. You can do all of this stuff to the person, whatever. I don't want that on my show. The isolating her just because of money, when we know that there's regular people that is just as guilty, but y'all in these comments talking like it just don't make sense to you. And it do, because it's in every single tax bracket. It's 2 crackheads on the street that's doing the same thing, and the only financial gain is that he can feed you every day. Well, it's survival of your space, I guess.
It depends on what floats your boat as a woman.
Right.
Attracted to money. Some women get sex from a man that they love the sex from that man.
Somebody.
The other man, so they don't want to.
Thank you.
Sexual thing.
Thank you, brother.
It's a way, some men are extremely charming, and they get that charming.
You get that feel good feeling all the time. Nobody ever paid attention to you, right?
Yeah, it's married man.
Thank you.
All this charm, bringing you flowers, being romantic, both petals up to your door, doing all this shit that these other men don't do. They fall in love with that. So it's certain things, whatever floats your boat or gets you going as a woman, those are the different ways that these men get you. So I think those are some of the reasons that they get stuck in these situations.
I think that's amazing. I think that's a full scope. I think a lot of people, and we all do, right? It depends on who's talking. As soon as we hear something about those two, you immediately jump on what we saw, because what we saw is overshadowing everything else. But in reality, a real person's day to day, because nobody in that tax bracket is watching my show right now. And I don't want our show to keep going over their head because they're like, well, that was her. Well, no, sweetheart, that's in your household too. That's your homegirl too. That's your sister that's being cheated on. That's your sister that is doing the cheating. This is in our tax bracket too. And it all goes back to whatever, to your point, whatever you allow them to do in that space, because whatever it is that you are getting from them that is feeding your feel good space, the bottom line is, I don't care where, it's still not right. That's the bottom line of it. And how you think you're going to move forward from that and get something amazing. The love of money is the root to all evil. It could be 20 or 20 million. To somebody, $20 is amazing.
Facts.
That don't exempt you. You know what it's like? People is pointing a finger at her, saying these things, or at him. But you're doing that same shit. You watching this and seeing social anxiety, social abuse, psychological abuse, mental abuse, physical, verbal. But your dude is doing that to you. Every time you reach out to him and he don't reach back, every time your husband go missing for a couple days, every time your friend ghosts you and act like they don't know you while they with their other set of friends, every time your parent is in and out and they're not, you've experienced it. You've experienced it. So until we can hold each other accountable, and here's the thing, it could be unintended. You cannot know that you're doing it because you keep saying, well, that was them over there, because it's on a bigger scale. But any scale is a bad scale. So we have to associate it so people in our tax bracket can understand. Because we know that's the big number. What? You make six figures? $100,000 after you get your taxes is $42.52. It's nothing. It's nothing. It's a blessing.
First 30%,
but they act crazy. That part. But Kevin Samuels, Kendra, all of that is, I want 6 feet, 6 figures, this and that. And you like, now what do we see as a result? The Kevin Samuels men think they could behave a certain way, and that's the pool we got to deal with. It's created a downward spiral. We got to do better. So I agree. If a man truly loves his wife and he just needed a vacation from being married, he's not going to leave his wife. It's people that be on Tasha K. They be like, oh, I messed with such and such for 10 years. And you like, you was a mistress for 10 years behind the scenes, like that girl that messed with Tasha's husband and had whole babies, got pregnant. Baby girl, why? And it'd be beautiful women. So stop saying, oh, it's because she fat. It's because she got low self-esteem. They be some beautiful women. And I'd be like, that goes against what we was taught.
Well, that's even subjective because, beauty is an eye of the beholder. So everyone's level of beauty.
Traditionally, socially, I guess.
Yeah.
Is that what you call it?
Universal beauty, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's, but the reality of it is, if your wife is worth a tenth of a damn, you ain't leaving your wife for no side piece. Never. It's never happening. If your wife
already trust your wife
a little bit of a damn, like if you got a decent wife that just, you're not, bro, because you don't want a chance of leaving your wife for somebody else who's going to be worth less than a tenth of a damn. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not a risk that a lot of people are willing to take, especially if you got children with the lady, because how men think, the first thing men think about,
I don't want no nigga raising my kids.
You said, took the words out of my mouth. We don't want other niggas around our kids. It's
right.
Our daughters, like, come on, like, we don't want other niggas around our kids. Like, no, like, so you're gonna do everything you can to savor that relationship and to keep it going. You don't want to move on to a groupie who, probably ain't shit, or to a side piece who probably gonna get tired of you and go to the next, person that's gonna, fulfill her little itches or scratch her itches. You feel me? So yeah.
You know what's interesting? Before we go to our last one, some of the men that I heard talking about the women is like, why would I trust that hoe? She was willing to deal with a married man. She was willing to do this, that, and the other. And I'm like, how can you talk about
the damn nerve?
Yeah, I would never marry her the way she did all of that and didn't have no problem, because the women be thinking, if you marry, I could be able to tell you whatever I want to tell you, and you think that you being receive the same way that you receive them, and they still clocking you, calculating you, and judging you the whole way through in the middle of all of their adultery. They doing that. I don't like those platforms. I don't listen to them.
Well, those are more.
Crazy.
Those are the more men that always like they give out the misogyny energy. It's like that's the mentality of
Like redirecting.
The men. I can't date her because she's a hoe because she had this many bodies or that many bodies. Like, those type of men that make those judgments. Like in reality, is as long as she ain't mess with knock boots with nobody that you know or your directly involved, your daddy, your brothers, like or your cousins, anybody like that, you shouldn't give a damn. Like she ain't got no AIDS or no blue waffle or like that. Why do you give a damn who she was intimate with in her past when that shit don't even matter? And a lot of men don't have that that strength or that
level of maturity.
The level of maturity to not even think about that. Most men are just so possessive and so crazy. At the same time, they done knocked your cousin down. They done knocked one of your friends down in the past.
Cheated on you 52 times and got the nerves to have morals, values, and standards. Ain't that something?
Come on. Y'all niggas got to do better because you guys sound like some extra clowns.
It is crazy. Okay, so here is the last one. Give us 5 more minutes and then we'll be done. This clip is 2 minutes. Then I'm going to give us 3 minutes. Here we go.
Somebody goes, so you would just walk out if they snore? Really? Have you ever not been able to sleep for a month because your partner has sleep apnea or whatever and can't sleep? They snore all the time. You ever shared a bed with somebody that snored so badly that it shakes the bed frame every breath they take? You ever not been able to sleep for a month? You're making it seem like I'm the bad guy for walking out on somebody that snores like a fucking train. You put yourself in that position, and then you come back here in this live and be like, well, I would just suffer through it. I'm so righteous and upright, I would always just stand beside you will hate that person in a week. You'll hate them. I predict that in a week's time, because you can't sleep at night, you're going to hate that person for shaking the bed frame so much with their snoring. You try not sleeping for a week. I'm going to read your future. You're going to hate that person.
So my question is, could you be with somebody who snores? Is it a deal breaker?
I have.
I have too.
I definitely have. I know when I'm heavy set, I snore myself. But a woman, I'll be laughing because they be so embarrassed about it. Like,
I can see if you like drunk or something, or you but a person that snore every day, I cannot. I think that is selfish. Like, that you snore.
You think it's selfish for them to snore?
You can't control that.
They can't control that now. It's too many
not
people
control
on the market.
that. That's
you
natural.
can't control it.
No, you can control that. They have all kinds.
No, you can't.
Yes, you
always
can.
control it. No, you can't.
Well,
I know somebody that has tried. You can try to control
it. CPAP machine. They need a CPAP machine.
That don't work all the time.
Well, they don't need to be with nobody.
None of that bullshit that sell on TV works. Like, that is so fucked up. If somebody,
I know somebody that's tried multiple things, including really going to the doctor.
That's something you cannot control. Like,
it's selfish.
That's just like
selfish, bro.
To me,
it's ugly. That's what you was born with. Like, that's something that you cannot do anything about. Like,
oh well, you need to be with somebody else.
Maybe y'all have 2 separate rooms.
Yeah.
Maybe you could try 2 separate rooms.
I guess we would have to sleep in separate rooms.
Because Rose said, hell no. She said you're selfish and she ain't gonna do it.
Yep. You go scream at God for making
You
you
sleep in
snore.
separate rooms. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah,
Because
we would have to sleep in separate rooms. I'm not doing it. That is so selfish to me. I don't like it.
why do you keep saying selfish? That's
It
not
is
believe
selfish to
fair.
me because you shouldn't want to be with nobody if you know that you gonna snore and you getting a good night's sleep and all that, and then the other person got red eyes and tired every single day because you snoring. That's selfish.
She said you shouldn't want to be with no. What the?
Unless you snore your own self, get somebody else that snoring that y'all gonna snore together.
Bro got me
and y'all
rolling because
I
it
have
was
heard it
somebody
all,
in the
bro.
comments. I promise you, they said the same thing. They said you barely hanging on anyway. You're not even supposed to be here and alive. I was like,
Well, I don't feel like that.
they
I
said
just feel like
you're
that
fighting to breathe, so you shouldn't be here or you shouldn't be dating anyway if you snore. And I was like,
no, they should be with somebody else that snores too, so they can both get sleep. A person that don't sleep, if you sleep light and then you with somebody that snores and they getting a good night's sleep and you never, that is selfish.
okay, so it's selfish if I get what you're saying now. You're saying it's selfish if you know you snore, you don't try to do nothing about it, you stay in the same room, you don't actually care if the other person gets any sleep. That's what you mean
The
by
other person
that's what
ain't.
she means,
A
guys.
person that snores loud like that ain't
You
no
should tell your
earbuds or
partner.
nothing. That is not good. Ain't no white noise. Nothing is going to take that snoring sound away. Like that's very selfish to me. They need to be with somebody else that snores too.
I
Don't
get
be
what
with
you're saying,
somebody
man.
that is selfish.
Like warn the person, make appropriate arrangement.
Face. Let them know. I snore.
So somebody like that,
I would be
okay.
have to take all the pills that Diddy taking to go to sleep.
I need a shot. I can't fuck with Rose. Like I can't. I'm out of here, bro. I can't do this. Pass that drink.
So what she is saying is y'all can never go on vacation together, as Harley would say, because you would need two separate hotels. Ain't gonna be no cuddling, ain't gonna be no nothing because y'all can't sleep in the same.
Unless sometimes people can go, some people
let me fall asleep first.
Let them go to sleep first, but that person still can't be a light sleeper. If they able to sleep through the night, but you let them go to sleep first, then yeah.
So that's a major question or major conversation that should be had during the dating stage is if you snore or how do you sleep?
How do you sleep?
I would say that's where are there any medical things that would impact me? Because if we get together and I have to sleep with you, live with you, any of that matters. Hell, it matters if you sleep with me with my back. Sometimes my back is so bad, my husband will wake. I have a couch in my room. My husband will wake up and I'm on the couch because I know that he has to go to work very, very early. And sometimes I move a lot. And even though we have a couching bed, I get out of the bed.
Moving a lot pisses me off.
It does. It pisses me off real bad. But that does piss me off. It pissed me off real bad. So here's the thing. That's why I was like, okay, I can see what she mean about selfish. And then I thought about my back.
How many times have I said when I get married, I want my own room?
She does say that. And I think that's really important. And hence the reason why I for real have a couch in the room because
I like sleeping by myself. I like sleeping by myself. I don't like people. Amir moving his sleep all the time. I'll be so mad. Like
I don't like people that move in sleep.
Why are you breathing so much? Like, ugh.
It makes me mad. I like sleeping by myself. I don't.
It's a big deal.
By myself.
Mark was going through this stage where I don't know what was happening in his sleep, but of course it was when I was getting good sleep. And I'm sleeping in bed, and one day I felt his hand hit me, and I was like, what? And he was sleeping like that. He would have his hands like this, and then they would slide, and he would hit, and then they would slide, and he would hit. So I got up and got out the bed. I always get up because he got to be up much earlier. So I'll get on the couch, I'll get on the floor, or I tell him to turn over on his side. But listen, sleep is very, very important.
It is important.
And I get what she's saying about being selfish because, like I said, when I know that my back is cutting up, I will get up and go in the guest room, or sometimes it's better for me with my back for the couch. Whatever I need to do to be better, I do it to be better. It's no way I'm gonna wake him up and tell him to go get in the guest bed. Like that doesn't even make any sense. But no, I get what she's saying about selfish. It's just funny when it has to do with breathing, though, because it's like you can't control that, and some people
PSA.
think that you can, and that's not right. You can't.
PSA: if you snore, don't try to be with nobody. You don't deserve no love. You don't deserve happiness.
According
I
to
said you
Rose,
deserve love for somebody else that
You don't
snores.
deserve none of that shit. Get the fuck away from me if you snore. Go
so
over there.
aside from that small pool we got, ladies, Rose just really brought that pool down because now they can't snore, and most men snore. I'm just
bro,
saying.
like, man.
Rose said, "Hell to the no. Do you snore?" Top of her list. Boop. To be fair, she also be pissed off at Amir because Amir moves too much in his sleep, and she be really pissed off.
You get up in peace, you're gonna be like, damn.
No,
'cause
moving a lot.
I don't have to wake up to pee. That
I'm
irritates
trolling.
me too. That irritates me too. Like, what's wrong with your bladder? What's wrong with your bladder that you got to get up multiple times?
Bro, what do you mean? What's wrong with your bladder? Like someone just wants something wrong.
I drink in my sleep, so I do get up.
But
I never have to get up.
Control your bladder. Like,
I'm very thirsty in my sleep. I drink in my sleep.
In the middle of the night. I don't wake up in the middle of the night.
This is by the bed when I sleep. I really feel keep water.
Everybody's bladder is different.
Okay, well, I don't.
Bladder?
It has to be them beds that where you can't feel the other person getting up and all that. I'm telling you,
you can't feel the other person in my bed. When Mark get up, the only way I know that he's up is when he come and kiss my forehead when he leave. Or kiss me somewhere. But that wakes me up. If I'm touched, I wake up.
I need my own room.
But the
I
bed
like
don't do
sleeping by
it.
myself. I like sleeping by myself. That's where my joy comes in. Sleeping by myself.
Okay, well, thank you for everybody for joining us for tonight. I hope you enjoyed the topic and you took away some good tips. Next week, we're doing the same thing with different topics, and we're going to read the comments. That is what we are doing that all other channels are not doing. Watch them start doing it, y'all. I want to read the comments. That's going to be a new segment of the show. Read the comments. So y'all can see we don't be making this shit up when we be like, the comments said, and y'all crazy. I just got to figure out how to blur out people's name because I don't want nobody getting beat up. They say the wrong thing. That's it. So hope you enjoyed the show. We are back on Tuesdays. We're going to move the show on Tuesdays to 7 p.m. starting next week. And then next week as well, we are doing a Sunday show versus a Thursday show. And I will pick and post the time. Rose, do you want to buy the books? Both of them are up, the planner and the journal. Everybody should be having this planner for their young girls in their life. I wrote it to my younger self and to my nieces. That's what most of the captions are and the affirmation statements. So please make sure you buy it. It's an 18-month. It is coloring pages and affirmation space and a calendar. 3-in-1 just for you. You can find it on Amazon under Melanin Madam. Anything from you, Rose?
Well, I do the Diddy recap every day.
Yes, she is doing the Diddy recap every day. At what time? So they make sure that they come over there.
I've been doing it at 6:30. So whenever they have a court trial, like I'm not doing one tomorrow, I ain't doing one on Monday.
Okay.
But whenever they have court, I'm gonna do a recap. Some days it be longer, some days it be shorter. It just depends on who they've called up to the stand. So you can watch that if you guys want to hear about the Diddy trial, since they don't show it on TV.
And I think that is awesome because everybody's not going to read the transcripts. Everybody doesn't want to listen to the whole thing. Some people just want recaps. And she is giving a recap, which is awesome. And beginning next week, you'll be doing a lunchtime with Madam because I am going to pull out the lessons learned because so much I'm noticing is going over people's heads in the comments. And they are only noticing or identifying with Diddy or Cassie, but nobody's applying this to their real life. And it's hard for me to believe that these people in the comments saying, "Oh, that's nasty. Oh, that's nasty." And we know y'all be doing stuff because there's no way the sex industry would be making all this money if you didn't.
Well, that's what he needed to be doing. I think with me, I'll be all over the place. Some days I'll be on Cassie's side. Some days I'll be like, well, Diddy.
It's easy to do. And that's why I was kind of trying to weigh it out and see how I felt about how the trial was going to see what angle I wanted to take it from, because we don't need people doing the same thing over and over. And for me and my platform, I want to try to stick to my brand. And for my brand, it's always taking something and learning a lesson out of it. So I always need to get a couple behind me and then start to go, because you can't do it off
It's
the first
right
one.
now. You really don't know. It's either way. Like you.
But
Really
I don't have a side. That's why I don't have to do it.
Mhm.
I only need to pull out the lesson learned from that particular day that I learned and I associate
Yep.
and share it. I don't have to pick a side, because at this rate, I don't have a dog in the fight, number one, and I don't want to be arguing with people. I don't want to go there. I just want to take the lessons learned and continue for us to be better and to grow from this. Because if nobody has seen a part of themselves in her, I think it's interesting. But that's your right. I don't want to judge nobody. I just want to take it from the perspective of what can we learn, how can we do better, and how can we raise our young ones up better, and how can we continue to be better and identify certain things that we should be doing that's different. So that's the angle that I would like to take, and I am. And I'm going to be using Armand Wiggins' videos to do so, because, baby, he is a key.
Funny.
He is a key, and his analogy is really good. They're really good. So that's what we're going to do. So have a great night. It seems like my brother dropped off. You guys saw he was having connection issues. He normally ends the show, but tonight it's me. So have a good night. Head to Amazon and buy my book. Okay. Bye.